So I watched Oppenheimer yesterday and immediately thought, hey, that kind of looks like fun. So today, I'm gonna blow up my base. Now, I wasn't necessarily gonna drop a nuke on my base because I'm pretty sure that would also nuke my PC. But I did a little calculations anyway and found out that one block of TNT in Minecraft is about 16 sticks of dynamite. And if I wanted to blow up a 1 kiloton nuke, I was gonna need a lot of TNT. You see, I had to kind of reverse engineer how much a block of TNT would weigh in the game, compared that to the amount of tons, and came out to 4,000 stacks of TNT to equal 1 kiloton nuke. Yeah, I'm not doing that, but I have a shulker box full of TNT. This'll be plenty. After that, I had to pick some prime real estate where I wanted to drop this, not technically nuke, but nuke in this case, and figured the center of my base-ish was good enough. I tried to make it as bomb-like as possible and then just kind of gave up because I didn't want to spend too much time on it if I was just going to blow it up anyway. So we got this beautiful looking cylinder. Of course, I had to write down the infamous quote from Oppenheimer, but I did not have enough sign space. So we have two different colored signs because symbolism. You can't tell me what symbolism, I can just tell you that it is symbolism and you have to believe me. And the last thing that we had to do was ironically name our flint and steel Enola Gay. While we're not dropping this thing off, we can still name the thing that ignites it after the plane that actually dropped the bombs. And if I haven't said it before, I'm saying it now, don't try this at home, kids. Sticking to historical accuracy, I did a little flyby and safe to say I think we need more TNT. And we'll see if it crashes. Okay. Yeah, that didn't work. Well, if you're seeing this video, that means my PC didn't blow up, or I got a new one. Now, in case it wasn't obvious, that was a joke. No, I'm not actually gonna blow up my entire base all because I saw a movie. But I did want to talk about that movie. You see, the biggest thing I took away from that movie is anxiety and coming to terms with products that we create. I know it's a very drastic comparison, but in a way, I saw myself as Oppenheimer as I was watching this movie. Before the bombs actually fell, Oppenheimer was just a scientist pursuing his passion and coming to terms with the anxiety based on putting that out there. He was determined to work on what he knew he could achieve and wasn't really concerned with the consequences of his actions. And well, I know it's a stretch to compare myself to the father of nuclear bombs, but I feel like content creators in a way can really relate to Oppenheimer and his anxiety. You see, we all know we have something to offer to this world, but up until the point we actually introduce it to them, we have no clue how the world is going to respond. And in our heads, the anxiety that we can create surrounding our products and what we produce for people can feel like a nuclear bomb going off and changing the entire scope of history. For one singular creator, especially one that isn't quite big enough to have the confidence of some of the other creators, I'm very anxious every time I'm working on a project. Anytime I'm working on an idea, a video, anything that I'm going to put out into the world, it's really hard for me. It's a struggle. And I feel like that's the case for most small content creators. But what's worse is whenever we put it out in the world, it doesn't matter if it does good or bad, it's the anxiety that comes directly after we push that button. Directly after we release our product into the world, it's no longer in our hands. People have seen it, therefore people can criticize you for it. It doesn't matter if reception is all good or all bad based on what you put out there. What matters is that people are seeing it. In many ways, there comes more anxiety with showing people what you were anxious about in the first place. With Oppenheimer, he was pursuing passion and science, and then after he completed his goals, well, there was only devastation and chaos and ruin. After the bombs fell, he was riddled by guilt from the consequences of his actions and the thousands and hundreds of thousands of people that he affected, if not millions, based on the chain reaction events that nuclear weaponry can have on the world. And while it's extremely drastic to think that of yourself, there's still some parts of us that believe that if we put what we're anxious about into the world, there's only something bad that can happen from it. I know it may seem easy taking the chance to become a content creator, but it's really hard. You're taking a chance every time you put a video out, every time you put anything out into the world, you're taking a chance on whether or not people are going to accept it or reject what you have to offer. And sometimes it's a lot worse than actually putting it together in the first place. So while I know it's a silly comparison to compare content creators to the father of nuclear weaponry, what I'm really trying to say is I know you're anxious. I know you're afraid. I know rejection is the hardest thing in this world. But to anybody aspiring to be a content creator, anyone that is a content creator and just feeling anxious, I see you and I feel you. And I know that there can be some drastic consequences for what we put out into the world, but I have to say that for better or worse, you never know for sure how the world is going to treat you. Sometimes you just have to try. Now, obviously, if you haven't seen Oppenheimer, I highly recommend it. It can be a hard film to watch, but it's honestly such a human film. And if you have the time, if you have the money, try and see it. This is kind of a different video for me. I'm not really used to doing anything like this. It's kind of off the beaten wall for me, but I just had to try. And if there's one thing that I would like you to take away from this video is to just try. I know it can be anxious, but you really never know until you actually try. Rambling, I'm going to end it here. And as always, I hope you all have a very wonderful day.